Restrictive COVID-19 measures and fears of a third wave have left authorities and political parties undecided on whether the local government elections should go ahead sometime after August or not. The parties have not had any opportunity to conduct voter campaigns and rallies to woo voters to their causes. Elections are governed by a complex set of rules. Well, joining us for his perspective on the debate over the postponement of the elections is Northwest University's political analyst, Professor Hanyane. A very good afternoon to you, Professor, and thank you so much for joining us.
Good afternoon to you, dear.
Now, according to the Constitution, the 5 yearly local government elections have to take place within a sort of a 90-day window, which would place them somewhere between August and November of this year. Now, do you think they will still go ahead?
Look, I had a chance to listen to the presentations by various units of government, your SALGA, IEC itself, COPTA, sometime last week, and the state of readiness does point towards the direction that from a logistics point of view, it's all systems go. But unfortunately, from the political side, some political parties are aggrieved by the fact that they haven't had ample time to campaign and pretty much draw in potential new voters, and that's a bit of a hassle. But yeah, the issues here are administratively, are there plans on the ground vis-a-vis political campaigning, and it seems that political campaigning has somewhat suffered under the current conditions of COVID-19, and then, of course, possible fears that the third wave might visit us very soon.
And I mean, the IEC itself has said that it can't hold free and fair elections if political parties are not able to actually carry out their sort of pre-election activities, campaigns and rallies. And being at level 1 of the lockdown, do you think there's still enough time for the political parties to catch up with their campaigning?
Yes, no, absolutely. There is enough time. And of course, one should appreciate the possibility that these political parties should then use possible avenues, for instance, electronic campaigning and so forth. Rightly, there could be concerns there as well, in that the poor of the poor do not necessarily have access to your electronic infrastructure. So, in a sense, this would make then a call to our political parties to come up with innovative ideas of reaching out to their own constituencies and, of course, making sure that they draw in new support from what they enjoy currently. It does tell us that a new set of ways of campaigning, ways of transacting and engaging electorate surely must be driven by parties and not necessarily by the IEC.
Another issue, Professor, that you also alluded to is the issue of the vaccine rollout process, which has been very slow. That coupled with the predictions of a third wave of infections that are expected to hit during the winter period. Do you think that herd immunity can be achieved before the third wave actually hits?
It is possible, depending on, as I said earlier, the readiness of IEC. If, of course, from a logistic point of view, they can carry this out, that will be a plus factor. The unfortunate thing to record and observe is the fact that the initial proposed idea of electronic voting suffered a blow due to lack of funding. If it wasn't for that, perhaps this was the opportunity for us to go full steam when it comes to the possibility of implementing electronic voting, despite the fact that one would then have to procure resources for that and make sure that we do educate our people on how to conduct themselves using electronic devices. Then, of course, there's a possibility of what in the U.S. is being done, your mail voting. That in itself, with the current situation in our post offices, might present fresh challenges that might hamper any possible success of local government. So the November date, in the end, might prove useful for the IEC to try and propose something. And we now know that the Minister of COPTA is consulting everyone else to look at possible ideas of at least rescuing the situation.